Hey guys, this video is going to be about the airbox and filter situation on the 2016 and up Yamaha Grizzlies and Kodiak. This is a Kodiak here, Kodiak 700. In 2016 they built this bike, they redesigned the Grizzly 700. That's a 15 over there, different air filter setup than this one. In 16 they put the air filter under the seat here, the airbox under the seat, but there seems to be some issues with this box, so I'll go over the problems I was seeing our first year with this bike and the modifications I did to fix it. So it's 16 and up, 700 Kodiak and Grizzly, same motor, same airbox setup, and I believe that 18s are the same way too. I'm really not sure, but I don't think they've made any changes. If it's a 700, this is the setup it's got in it. So okay, let's get started. I'll show you, I'll take the airbox lid off and we'll kind of start from there. So set this up here. I'm going to show you. I like this though, it's easy to get in. Everybody likes stuff easy. That one's more difficult, the 15s, but there really wasn't any issues with that one, I don't believe. That was the first year we bought those, so hell, I don't know. Let's set this here. Okay, first off, there it is. Obviously you can see one of the changes I made, something I added to it. So here's one of the first changes, or one of the things I did. So I get the light up here so you can see. I added this extra foam. There's a seal. Here's your front adapter that goes in on your filter, and there's a small seal that seals around, and it just sandwiches in to the front of the airbox housing. And I added this piece of foam here, cut out a piece of foam. As you can see, it just sandwiches it in between there, and soaked it with air filter oil, just like everything else. You know, this air filter soaked. Same way with this piece of foam here, soaked it, and just to make sure it was sealing, because it seemed to get dirt on the inside. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna make sure that seal is not going to let dirt get past the factory seal, which is very small, and I'll pull it up out of there and show you. Okay, let me get the air filter pulled up out of there, and we'll keep going on this deal. Okay, I'll set the camera up right here so you can see. Get my gloves on. I don't want to get my hands all oily and then touching the camera. Everything hit. This part is still factory. It still holds in there the factory way. Let me show you. See how it just sits down in there, and these edges just see the air filter just basically sets up against there like that, and that's how it stays in there. And the lid goes on it and pushes down on it and forward as well. So that's how that works, and that's still all the same. I didn't really make any changes there. I just added the piece of foam, which I just told you. Let's lift this up. You see the piece of foam? It kind of sticks on both sides because it's got a lot of air filter oil on it. It's just sealing. See, it kind of falls up, it comes loose a little bit. I'll set it over here and then show it to you. Okay, I'm going to take my gloves back off. You can see where that sets, the extra piece of foam. That way you have this whole area here where that foam set. You see the dirt sitting right up there. So you can see it's all sealed off. Show you this piece of foam. See, your factory one was right here. That's your factory seal. Just still on there, but I just add more to it. This piece of foam here, so it sets on this whole surface here and seals off. You can see the dirt really builds up right there. And I guess the reason I done all this because, let me get back over here. All of 2016 we rode this, and I would notice a little film of dirt. Well, I made this modification January 2017, and today, this is January 2018 right now. So we rode the bike all of 2017 with the modification made, and you can see I rubbed, and I never, you can see how clean it is. It stayed that clean. Every time I would open it up and look in it, it'd be perfectly clean. So it's been that way for a year. But the first year I kept noticing dirt in there. That was what led me to try to figure this out and make the improvement, I would say. Every time I pull the air filter off to clean it, get the light set up, which is not. Every time I pull the air filter off and clean it, I would notice dirt or dust, just dust right around here, all the way around here. See the air horn? You would notice a film of dust right in here, and I'm like, as you can see right now, it's perfectly clean. And that filter's pretty dirty, but it's all on the outside, that's fine. I would notice a film of dust right here. And you're like, well, how is that getting in there? That's, you know, gotta fix this. First you think it's this little small seal here. The factory seal is so small, you're thinking, well, it's just sucking through there and getting dirt in there. Well, it wasn't that seal, but I improved that seal. I just give it more area. As you can see, it's sealing all the way across there rather than just that one small spot. So, but what I figured out, where the dirt was coming from, it would be really dusty right in here, more so on this side than this side. I'm hoping this is coming out good. Now, I'm filming this with the GoPro. Okay. It would be really dusty right on this side, and a little bit of dust right around on your bell here, your intake boot. This boot that goes on into your throttle body. And you're trying to figure out how is dirt getting in here. Well, here's what I found. This tube here, there's a tube. It's up in there. I drilled the hole there. I'll explain that to you in a minute. There's the auxiliary air. It has an air valve, this thing for emissions. I'm not sure when this valve comes on, but it sucks air through the engine, goes into the cylinder head, goes through the exhaust to meet emissions. Well, somehow, let me get back over here. Alright, I got another light. You can see that tube right there. It bolts onto the front with a hose clamp on the front of the airbox right here. That tube right there. And it goes up to the air cut valve. There's an air cut valve. It goes in right there, but there's a valve that it hooks onto right over there and turns it on. Well, what I was noticing was most of the dust was right in that tube. Turn this back off. Most of the dust was real heavy right in this area, right over on this side of this bell. And then obviously the motor would be sucking it in. Well, you can see it's perfectly clean now. There's no dirt getting sucked in there, because obviously you can't have dirt getting sucked in there. It's gonna wear out your rings, your cylinder, and before you know it, it's be burning oil. So somehow through that tube is full of dirt, or not necessarily dirt, I'd say dust, because it's not heavy. It's more like light dust, like that, like it's inside your airbox, just dust coming out of that tube. And that tube there's a cavity right in here, and there's one over here. There's another tube on this side that is your crankcase vent goes in the top of your valve cover. That tube is still there. There you can kind of see them both, I think. That tube is still there. I didn't really modify that in any way. That's fine. You want your crankcase vent to be on the inside of your air filter, obviously. But this tube here, I would notice dust in that tube heavily. So somehow, it doesn't seem possible, but I don't know, maybe somebody that works at Yamaha will see this and leave it in the comments below, why there's dust in this tube. So the dust in this tube, and that tube would vent right on the inside of here, right on the inside of this bell. See, that's not hooked. There's a vent here for your crankcase vent, and then vented over here for that air valve. So that was my main issue. That I'm like, okay, there is where the dirt's coming in at. It's not necessarily coming in through the air filter, through this seal. There was my problem. Okay, I wanted to eliminate this tube from dumping dirt or dust on the inside of your air cleaner and letting it suck in the motor. There's kind of an open cavity here in the front of this airbox, and it's sealed off here on this side and straight on the bottom. So there's a cavity and there's a cavity. So what I did is I took silicone, I took this apart, took this boot out of here and took the box up out of there. Siliconed, good automotive silicone, this side shut, so this would not vent on the inside here. You can kind of see it's some gray silicone, you can see some of it right there. Drill the hole in the top of it right here, so now this tube gets its air through right here rather than inside your air cleaner, because this tube has dust in it, so I don't want it on the inside of the air cleaner. So I drilled a hole in there, so now it gets its air through here, not on the inside of the air filter. No more dirt on the inside of the air filter. Crankcase vent is still in there, still in the factory way, but it's crankcase vent. There's no dirt in your engine, hopefully. So that is what I did there. Now, you want to have this filtered, or you don't want dust to get sucked in it, but it seems it's gotten dust coming out of it, which how I do not know. If you guys know, then maybe leave it in the comments below. And I'll show you what I did, or the rest of the story on this modification here. Here's the airbox lid. I'll kind of get it over here and give you a better idea. The lid goes on right there. As you can see this little piece of foam? It's a little piece of air filter foam that's going to sit right there, right on top of there, on top of that hole where that valve gets its air. And I made a little bracket right here, and that little piece of foam just sets in there, and then when your lid goes on, it sets down there, keeps dirt from getting in there, which that's a dirty tube anyway. It's just mind-boggling how that tube has dirt in it. So that's the filter for that tube. Eliminated it from being part of this system. That way it's on the outside. There's an air temperature sensor that goes in the front of here, that goes into this cavity. So the ECM, the ECU, whatever you want to call it, picks up that air temperature and helps adjust your fuel mixture. So you kind of need to keep this. I wanted to keep this all intact and working as factory. But since it was putting dirt inside there, that was the issue that I found of causing dirt to be on the inside of the air filter. Something else I did to the air filter itself, and it's very oily. You know, I got a lot of air filter oil on it. So I'll get the camera back here a little bit. So that's still the factory adapter that goes on the front of your air cleaner. So I'll set that down there. And another thing I did, I mean, it goes on and on, it seems like, but I added this air filter. There's a real dense foam in the middle here, and this was a real coarse, a real porous foam out here. So to me it seemed like this filter could let dirt get past it. This foam was not very dense, and this was a pretty dense foam here. So I took and bought another air filter, cut the outside of it off, trimmed it. A real dense, real high density foam there, and you got a high density foam there. This one is not so much, and put that on the outside of it. So you basically got 3 layers of foam filtering. Now that obviously they're all have the grease on them, you know, your air filter oil. This one does too. Hope that helps you out, gives you some information, and that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching.